Sometimes I think I care too much. Other times I think I don't care enough. I think it just mainly has to do with the different ways that people process things. For example, recently my grandfather passed. My mother was in a lot of tears, and I don't know. I don't think I've cried yet, but I am still sad. And I think just in these moments I see somebody crying over a death, somebody being so sad, hit so hard. And then there's me, and I didn't cry, and I feel like I should have cried. It felt like I didn't care enough. Maybe I did. And again, it's just the different ways that people process things. But it is hard to not feel like that sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to understand that everybody's different. There's a show that I like to watch. It's called The Office. There's a moment, though, in the show where they think that Dunder Mifflin, the company that they work at, is going under. And at the time, there are two managers, Jim Halpert and Michael Scott. And Jim is very much worried about the company. He's trying to keep all the updates, make sure people are still okay and whatnot. He's trying to make sure everything stays afloat. But Michael, he brings out a game and he tries to get all the employees to play, to role play, get in their characters, to solve a murder mystery while the company is threatened. And Jim doesn't understand why Michael is doing this. He thinks that he's just messing around and isn't taking it seriously. But in the episode, Jim learns that there are different ways that people deal with stuff. Michael is messing around, playing a game, because he wants to make sure that everybody's happy. He doesn't want everybody to feel stressed and upset about recent stuff. And Jim is trying to keep everything afloat. Both are valid, but just one seems a little odd to the other. And I think there's a good lesson in that. Not that the office is, the perfect place to get your lessons of what you should do. More often than not, it's a place where you should get your lessons of what you shouldn't do. But I like that one. I just don't want someone to be mad at me because they think that I don't care. I just want them to be able to understand exactly how I'm feeling without me having to express it. Because I think I have a hard time expressing things sometimes. But I know that's a lot to ask. Why should anyone be expected to know how I'm feeling without me saying a thing about it? It's absurd. It's unfortunate to feel this way. And then other times, I think that maybe I care a little bit more than I should. I feel like I'm always watching what other people say. And then, of course, what I say. I'm worried that if I say the wrong thing, my friends will despise me. Worried that if I act a certain way, my loved ones will forget about me. They'll be ashamed of me. And I worry what they say because I worry that somebody might view me in a negative way. I think I've run into a lot of conflicts in my life. I don't really have many friends anymore. I used to. My old friends used to make fun of me and say that I used to be the popular kid in elementary school. Now I really only have one friend. So I worry whenever somebody listens to what I say. I'm always worried that I might say the wrong thing and they'll move on and they'll forget about me because what's the point of sticking around somebody who doesn't bring you joy? I feel like I've run into this problem recently where I feel like people don't care enough, but then it just makes me second guess myself and question, and I wonder maybe I just care a little bit too much. When I make a friend with somebody, I want to be their friend. I want to know what's up in their life. I want to know recent events. I want to know people they've met. I want to know because I care about them. But I feel like recently, not a lot of people see it that way. And I'll tell you an experience I had. Me and my partner are in a friend group together. Big friend group of like 10-ish people, at least 10 people. And we would all hang out, go to different restaurants together. Of course, we went to the same school. And we were together all the time. We had this Discord server that everybody was in, and there was a channel in there that you could talk about your problems. If you had some problem with some depression with a family member, any sort of personal problem, you could go in there and vent about it, and people would always be there and say, "Hey, I'm here for you." And that made me feel good because I know that there are people out there who genuinely don't care about their friends. And it was nice to know that my friends aren't like that. They do care about each other. But recently I feel like that's changed. I used to go to online school. Then I went back to brick and mortar school where I met them. And now I've gone back to online school and I moved away. So I've sort of naturally lost a little bit of connection. And I sort of expected that, but I didn't expect to not really talk to them at all anymore. They stopped talking in the Discord server that we had. But you can see their posts on Instagram all the time. They're still active and they do stuff. But my partner went to online school too, and we don't really talk to them anymore. And it's strange because I thought we were good friends. Like I said, it was nice to know that these people actually cared. With that channel where you could talk about problems, it was nice to know. But then I see their posts with a bunch of different friends, people I have no idea who they are. And not that they have to keep me up to date on every single little detail, but it's nice to know something. I think a lot of people I hear who are past high school, they talk about their old high school friends, and I see the way they talk to each other. A lot of it feels fake, like they don't actually care about each other, but they talk because they know each other. I hate that idea. Like I said, I want to talk to people because I care about them. I want to know what's up because I care. But then I feel like recently my friends have become those people where I'm just a background character for them. And I know this is a thing that everybody talks about. This isn't an uncommon revelation. You're a background character for other people. But I don't know. I thought I was at least a secondary character, you know? I thought I at least mattered in a way that didn't mean just stop talking. It meant that I was worthy of a conversation of why, or even a heads up of this is what's up. But just losing the connection entirely with no words hurts. And I don't know why. I wish more people cared about other people. I wish other people meant something to people. Empathy, right? I wish there were more people who could put themselves in someone else's shoes and understand the perspective of someone else. Every time I talk to somebody, I have a hard time not seeing that. I have a hard time looking at them and listening to what they say and not thinking about how they feel. But a lot of people don't care. I don't know why. And that's why I sometimes think that I care too much. Maybe I let people mean too much to me. So by the time they're gone, I've lost a connection that never really was. Maybe I shouldn't have held them to such high value in the first place. And I don't mean this to say I miss my friends. I guess I do. They were nice people. Most of them. But I also feel awkward being the person who I know nobody wants around, but I still show up anyways. I hate that feeling. So when I see them disconnect from me, I don't feel like I need to connect with them again. I just feel like maybe they just don't want me around anymore, and I guess that's fine. People grow, people change. But like I said, I just thought I was worthy of something more. Maybe not. It's hard to find the balance. I don't know when I should care more, and I don't know when I should care less. And I don't know who decides that. Maybe no one does, and maybe there is no balance. Maybe there is just how we feel and who accepts it and who doesn't. And I think that's at least partially true. There's some things you should care about. There's some things you shouldn't. But how you react to that is just how you react to that. And if someone makes you feel bad for feeling the way you feel, then I guess that's their problem. It's important to remember. I think I forget that sometimes. I don't need to apologize for how I feel. I'm allowed to feel, even if I feel bad. And like I said at the start, what's the point of hanging out with somebody who doesn't bring you joy? If somebody's willing to forget about me, then let them. There's always going to be somebody who does care about me. This goes for anybody watching too. I don't know if this will reach anyone. I don't know if there's even a soul out there who would care about the way that I feel. But if there is, I just want you to know you don't have to apologize for how you feel. And never forget that there is always somebody out there who's going to love you and care about you, regardless of who you are. Never let others dictate your life, because it is your life. Feel what you feel, love who you love, and don't ever let anyone tell you that that needs to change.